Ever wondered how one small moment with someone can shape your entire opinion of them? Or how a missed greeting or a comment at work becomes a lens through which you view that person forever? Welcome back to another episode of The Butterfly Mind, where we will challenge ourselves to take off those colored glasses and see people truly them for who they are beneath the surface. But as usual, let me phase into this chapter with a statement. What if the real conflict in your relationships isn't about the other person, but the story you've been telling yourself about them? Take a pause and hear that again. What if the real conflict in your relationships isn't about the other person, but the story you've been telling yourself about them? Because sometimes all it takes is a different lens to see the same soul in a new light. Alright, let's start with the chapter. What if I told you that most of the relationship troubles could dissolve not by changing the people around you, but by simply changing the lens through which you view them? Relationships, whether at work, in our families, among friends, or even with neighbors, they often feel confusing, heavy, and emotionally charged. It's no surprise that so many of our daily worries stem from misunderstandings or misaligned expectations with others. You have probably thought something like, no matter what I do, my boss just doesn't get me. I'm trying to be patient, but my friend keeps flaking out. Why does the neighbor act like I don't exist? Once these thoughts start spiraling, they rarely stop. A small doubt morphs into a solid brief, and before you know it, you are building entire stories about people based on a single incident or interaction. You see, the mind tends to hold on to negativity with an iron grip. A little friction with someone, say a disagreement in a meeting or a missed call, can grow into a lasting judgment, and suddenly that judgment colors every future encounter. We begin to reduce people to caricatures. The boss becomes impossible, the friend becomes selfish, and the neighbor definitely rude. But step back and really think about it. Where did it all start? More often than not, the source is a tiny moment, often insignificant in the grand scheme. A miscommunication, a forgotten plan, or a misunderstood tone. What we're really doing is slipping on tinted glasses lenses shaped by assumptions, bias, or past baggage. And once those glasses are on, they distort how we see others and worse, how we relate to them. Here's an example. Imagine you're about to meet someone who's new at work, and one of your colleagues says, "Heads up, he's difficult." Now, that one line becomes the filter. No matter how pleasant or kind the person actually is, you have already boxed them into a category. Your body language gently shifts. Your openness, it kind of tightens. And you don't realize it, but you have already shaped the relationship before it even begins. Now, many spiritual traditions, they offer a similar gentle teaching. Do not judge by appearances and do not judge by fragments. They remind us to stay open hearted, to look deeper, and one idea shines across them all. Every soul carries a divine essence, a spark of godliness, a sacred nature. Now, even if someone seems harsh or unreliable or distant, there is more to them than what we have chosen to focus on. So, next time you find yourself labeling someone or clinging to a grudge or any negative feeling that you are carrying at that particular moment, remind yourself this is only one side of them. Let me look for their God gifted nature. You will be surprised at how much softer your interaction becomes. You may find that your boss, while firm, is deeply fair. Your friend, though forgetful, is always there when it really matters. And your neighbor, shy and reserved, may simply be waiting for you to wave first. Now, by taking off your colored glasses, you are not just seeing others more clearly, you're returning space to your own heart. And when you see the good in others, it has a way of reflecting back at you. And as we step out of this chapter, let's pause for a moment. This wasn't just about resolving a conflict or understanding others. It was about removing the filters we unknowingly wear. It's about seeing people not as fragments or our assumptions, but as whole beings with their own stories. Now, to leave you with something real and rooted, let me take you through a short story, one that quietly reflects the very heart of what we have just explored. There was a guy who moved into a new neighborhood. From the moment he arrived, he noticed his neighbor kept to herself, quiet, distant, never waving hello. At first, he thought she was cool, maybe even unfriendly. He found himself filling the space between them with stories of indifference and distance. Now days went by and that coldness felt heavier, like a shadow he couldn't shake. He started avoiding any chance of a conversation and convinced that she just didn't want to connect. One afternoon, while watering his plants, he noticed her tending to a small garden tucked away behind a fence. The flowers blooming in wild, vibrant colors. And he got curious and he asked about them. And you know what? She smiled softly and shared how each plant had a story, a memory, and how gardening was her way of finding peace. In that particular moment, he realized that his assumptions had been like tinted glasses, shading his view with unnecessary doubt. He had been seeing only what he expected, the coldness, without even looking deeper. When he finally took off those colored lenses and looked through a kinder, clearer perspective, he saw not a stranger, but someone quietly carrying her own hopes and struggles. From there, a simple hello turned into a friendship rooted in understanding. Now, this story wraps a very beautiful lesson. Our judgments can blind us, but when we choose to see with empathy and fresh eyes, the world feels warmer and more alive. So next time frustration creeps in, pause and ask yourself, am I seeing the whole picture or just a shadow cast by my own fears? Because the real change doesn't come from them, it comes from choosing to look with fresh eyes and open heart. Until next time, keep your vision clear, your mind gentle, and your spirit compassionate. The world and your relationships will thank you for it.